If you ask somebody on the left or right what's wrong with America, they'll probably blame each other. But what happens when you don't completely trust either side? Because there are millions of Americans who are starting to feel like there is something wrong with political parties.
So let's start with this, asking folks their view. First, the Republican Party. All these numbers you're seeing here, we asked them, do you have a positive or negative view of the party? And what this is nationally, overall, everyone in this poll, by an 11-point margin, they said negative, not positive, 11 points underwater. The Gen Z number, and look at that, it's 3 times the negativity there. Now take a look at the Democratic Party here, more negative. Look at this, almost twice as unpopular as the Republican Party with all voters. 20 points more negative than positive with all voters, and yet the opposite is what we're seeing with those Gen Z voters.
It's not necessarily because every idea that the left and right produces is a bad idea. It's because a lot of people feel like politicians on both sides are more interested in winning elections and controlling the narrative and defeating the other side than actually solving problems affecting the regular everyday person. And to be real, I understand why people feel like that. The left and the right both say they represent you. The left says it represents working people, minorities, poor people, immigrants, young people, and people who have historically been ignored by the system or the political system. The right, you got them saying that they represent the working people, small businesses, religious people, world communities, people who want less government, and people who feel like the country is changing just too fast. You got both sides claiming to fight for the ordinary person. But the problem is, a lot of Americans look at politics and say, shit, if both sides are supposedly fighting for me, then why the am I still struggling? You got housing expensive. You got food expensive. Healthcare and college is expensive. And to be real, shit, the wages don't even feel like they're keeping up with the cost of living. The minimum wage is still $7 and something. You barely can make a living with $12, $14 an hour. What you gonna do with 7? And while we're just sitting here arguing with each other online about politics, the politicians from both parties continue to raise money, gain power, and live lives that most Americans can't relate to. So people start asking simple questions. Are these politicians actually solving problems, or are they just giving us someone to blame? Why some people don't trust the left. Let's start with the left. A lot of people who criticize the left believe that Democrats and progressive politicians sometimes focus too heavily on social issues, political language, and cultural debates while not doing enough about, economic problems. Someone might be struggling to pay rent, even working 2 jobs, or they might be worried about crime or healthcare or their own future. And then they see politicians arguing over shit that's totally irrelevant to them and their own problems in their life, which can create real frustration. Some people also feel like the left can be extremely judgmental toward people who disagree with them. Instead of trying to just convince someone, political arguments quickly turn into you're a dumbass, you're racist, you're evil, you're fucking idiot. And when people feel like they can't even ask questions without being attacked, they often don't even become supportive. They usually just get more suspicious. But that also doesn't mean that every criticism of the left is a fair criticism. And it also doesn't mean that every progressive idea is bad. You got universal health care, stronger worker protections, affordable education, you got environmental protection, and civil rights are all issues a lot of people support. But the problem is that the left can sometimes act as if everyone who disagrees with them is automatically a bad person, which can easily push people away. Why some people don't trust the right, but the right has its own trust problem. A lot of people who criticize Republicans believe that the right often uses fear and outrage to motivate its voters. Immigration, crime, wokeness, the border, transgender issues, socialism, the media, and the government. Every election can feel like the country is supposedly facing an existential crisis.
The problem is they don't have common sense. They don't know what they're doing, and they're destroying our country. We'll turn it around fast.
But a lot of people feel like politicians keep talking about the same problems without actually fixing said problems. Like, for example, a politician can spend years talking about immigration and the border, but if the problem remains year after year after year, people start asking, do you actually want to solve this problem? Or do you only keep talking about it because it helps you win elections? That's the same thing that happens with crime, government spending, inflation, and other major issues. The right says it's the party of limited government and fiscal responsibilities, but Republicans have also supported major government spending and increased the national debt. So some people look at both parties and think, wait, you told me the other side was destroying the country, but when you got in power, why didn't everything change? And this is where distrust grows. The biggest problem might be that both sides need you angry. I think one of the biggest problems in modern politics is that both sides benefit when you hate the other side, because an angry voter is an engaged voter. And if Democrats can convince you that Republicans are trying to destroy America, or vice versa, that Republicans try to convince you that Democrats are trying to destroy America, you are way more likely to vote for the party feeding you that propaganda. Then social media just makes the whole situation worse. You may have a reasonable political opinion, like I disagree with some Republicans and some Democrats, but I also think that both sides have some good and some bad ideas. That probably won't get millions of views. But a video saying the left or right is destroying America can instantly create anger. Anger gets clicks, it gets comments, it gets shares. So the internet constantly rewards the most extreme voices and opinions. And after watching enough of that, people start to believe that the other side is evil. But are both sides really the same? Now I want to be clear, saying that you don't trust either side does not mean that both sides are the same, because they're not. The left and the right have completely different opinions and beliefs about major issues. They also have different ideas about government, such as with the economy or social issues, immigration, healthcare, taxes, and crime, and yes, even foreign policy. So saying both sides are the same can be pretty lazy. But saying that both sides can be hypocritical, corrupt, or dishonest, that's pretty fair. Like, look, a person can believe that one side is worse on a particular issue while still recognizing that their side got their own problems too. To be real, that's probably something politics need more of. People who can criticize and critique their own side. If someone thinks that their party is always right and the other is evil, then they're not even thinking independently anymore. The real reason people are losing trust is because people feel like the political system isn't even improving their life. You can argue political theories all day, but at the end of the day, people need basic things in life. They want to be able to afford a home to live in, or affordable food to eat, decent health care, maybe a good job, and better future for our children. Political parties often spend huge amounts of time convincing people our neighbors are the threats. Someone in another state may be the threat. The person who votes differently may be a threat. And all while we fight each other, the politicians stay in power. Another reason why Americans are starting to say, I don't want to be a Democrat or a Republican. I just want someone who represents me. So what should we do about it? Me personally, I don't think that we should blindly support the left or the right. Don't just ask if this person is a Democrat or a Republican and then run with them. Ask, what are they proposing? Who benefits from their policies? And most importantly, would I still believe this if the other party said it? Because if you only criticize hypocrisy when the other side does it, then you're not against hypocrisy. You're just against your opponents. This shit ain't no sport. This is American politics, the American government. And people distrust the left and right, not because they don't care about politics, but because that they care so much that they're tired of being lied to, tired of feeling like the system only remembers them when it's time to vote. At the end of the day, political parties are supposed to work for the people. We aren't the politicians' servants. Maybe the reason Americans are losing trust in the left and right is because more people are realizing that we don't have to blindly trust neither party. I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video. If you like this video, grab the like button, click that motherfucker, leave a comment, let me know y'all opinions on the matters and shit too. Share it with your friends. We up with this bitch. Subscribe. I'm gonna be dropping more videos about money, politics, history, all type of shit. I like learning, and I like teaching. I don't like teaching. I'm a lie. That's a fucking lie. I like learning, but I also like to learn with people. You feel what I'm saying? This type of content where I learn some shit, give it to y'all, that's fun to me. This shit's fun. So anything y'all got in mind that y'all want me to record and do, let me know in the comments and I'll make a video about it, react to it. I got a reaction channel too, that bitch called Dat Youngin Reacts. It's gonna be right there on the screen so you can see it. And yeah, we going up. I'm gonna make sure I drop some more reactions and we gonna go crazy. Let me know what we doing next. Yeah.